I'm Michael Poulsen from Volbeat.
I'm John.
And we are here in Ireland, Dublin, for the first time. Looking forward to do the show. I will not say that Volbeat has anything to do with rockabilly. I love rockabilly, but there will be very small elements that can, maybe have some kind of, that you definitely can hear the inspiration from rockabilly tunes. But if you listen closely to the Volbeat music, you can hear, a lot of heavy stuff, a little bit of country, some metal, some country, and some small parts of rockabilly. But to say what it is it's a little bit tough. It's not like we try to brand the band in any direction concerning the style or anything, but for us, when we hear people call it Elvis metal, it sounds fun, and it's probably a great compliment because Elvis is good, metal is good, so why not?
I think the reaction to this album has over and all been very positive, actually. Of course, there's been, some reviews had complained about certain songs, but that happens every time. There are definitely some songs in this album that has divided the audience. Particularly, I think the one that we got the most flack for was actually Evelyn. Either people loved it or people hated it. I clearly remember there was one Danish review that he claimed that song ruined the whole album. Not because of us, but because of Barney. But I guess he didn't understood it. But I think over and all, the reaction for the album was quite positive.
Yeah, as John said, there was other reviews where they said that was the best song. And that's what it should be like, because if everybody loves the same song, then it will overshadow all the other songs. So it's actually good that people have their different favorites, and it's okay that that there's some of it they don't like. Volbeat is a very experimental band. There's so many different styles, so we can truly understand that there are certain elements or songs that people don't understand, but it seems to go pretty well because there's a lot of different people at the Volbeat shows, everything from small kids, 10 years old, and people up in the 60s. So something must be right. Yeah, we had different musicians on the album. We have a legendary guitar player called Michael Dani, who has been playing a lot of years with the legendary band called Merciful Fate. We all know that band. So that was really a big scoop for us. I can definitely talk for me and John that we're huge King Diamond and Merciful Fate fans. So have the opportunity to work with Michael Dani was amazing, and he did a very good job. We had Mila Petrosa from Creator, old school legendary thrash band from Germany, and Mila has been going to some of the Volbeat shows during the years in Germany, and we were hanging out, and we were just talking. Maybe one day we could do something together, and that happened, and very proud of having him on board on the record as well. Who else do we got?
Yeah, we had Barney from Napalm Death for the track Evelyn, and yeah, basically the same story with him as it is for Mille. We met him, hung out with him. Turned out that his girlfriend was a huge fan of ours, so she had forced him to listen to our stuff, and in his own very charming British way, he told us that he actually liked it. So again, the idea popped up, why not see if we could do something in the future? And sure enough, Michael wrote him, and he replied back immediately and said, sure, I'll do it. So that was a good one. And we had a Danish harp player called Henrik Hall to play harp on one of the songs. And I guess, how was the story? You needed somebody to play the harp, and there was only
I called one of my friends, and in Copenhagen. He said there's only one guy who can do that, and he's the best. And it's called Henrik. And I called Henrik, and this old guy, he was 66 or something like that, and he had his own band called Love Shop.
Yeah, Love Shop.
A great band in Denmark, and he was doing a really good job, and one of the most nice people I met in a very long time. Sadly, he passed away. What is it, 4 months ago or something like that?
I think it was in spring, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Earlier this year he passed away.
He passed away. I think it was cancer. Yeah. But you know, we had a good time working with him in the studio, and I'm very proud of listening to his work when I hear the song. You know, hopefully he's still able to hear us somewhere where he is. But so we wish him the best where he is. Then we have a guy called Jacob Øland, which played the slap bass, and he comes from a rockabilly band called Tones. And $16 was the song where he did his work, and it sounds great. It was one of those songs I always wanted to write that had that rockabilly feeling. And you know, I called Jacob, and he was really into it, and it sounds great. It definitely fits the song. Very proud of it. What else do we have? We have
the usual guys who do all the intro stuff.
Yeah, some of the guys we used on the previous albums. It's like guitars and banjo. That was probably it, isn't it?
Yeah, no, producer did some backup vocals, but
yeah,
he always do that.
Yeah.
He wanted to do it, and we can't say no to him, so he has to be on the album.
Well, touring with Metallica, you know, that's just one big, great story. So, you know, it's picking one story out is very difficult, because, you know, every day we had the opportunity to hang out with those guys. They were very kind and very into music, and you know, some of the first days it was very weird to, you know, be in the same room with legendary performers. They were and still are our idols, but you know, later in the week and during the tour, you know, we just find out they're just regular people like everybody else. You know, they just happen to play in the biggest rock band in the world, but you know, they're really normal human beings, and they were very kind and treated us very well, and we had a lot of fun. You know, went out eating with them a couple of times, but during the tour we put up different notes on each other's doors just to see how we reacted in a fun way. You know, there are a lot of great signs we put up on the doors. So it's so difficult actually to pick one out. Hetfield thought it was fun to put up a poster of a Pokemon figure, because you know, he figured out that there's actually a Pokemon figure called Volbeat, and he thought that was fun. Yeah. Making a poster of that Pokemon figure, putting on our door.
And besides, he didn't like when we talked amongst each other, because we talked Danish, of course, and he didn't like that. So all of a sudden you see small signs that says no Danish people allowed, no Danish speaking allowed. It's just gross and stuff, you know, little stuff like that. And he was actually, when he did that, he was like a little kid, because you could see him in the background going, I wonder who did that. Yeah, we wondered too. So, like Martin said, we started putting up small signs that in front of the tuning room said, please keep it quiet, or play some Megadeth or whatever we wrote. And we actually, through one of their crew guys who run their tuning room, he said, you know, why don't you do something special? So we put in a lot of our drumsticks and guitar picks, and we actually made a set list for them. And it turns out that Kirk actually started playing some of the songs we had put up there. And
they were not Metallica songs, they were songs by other
everything
bands.
Else but Metallica
because
songs.
We have been listening to them 15 times in a row, so it's about time that we wanted to hear something else.
And we made a to-do list for, it was for the band, but I think it was only James who saw it, where we put up like 10 sentences, you know, always wear black, remember to drink plenty of water, and blah blah blah, stuff like that. And he looked at us, he said, well, I got 3 of them down: black clothes, black guitar, drank water, I'm good. So, but it's just like Michael said, they were ordinary human beings, like everybody else.
It's very loose.
Yeah.
I don't think there's a difference in the audience when you think back on the audience in America and the audience we have in Europe. It's the difference is that in America we're not as big as we are in Europe. So what we see in America right now is it's almost the same thing, just before it exploded in Europe. That's what we see in America right now. You know, they are very dedicated, and Volbeat is very new to them. You know, they have discovered the albums, and so it's very obvious. It seems like they have the Volbeat fever right now. So it's almost where we were in Europe some years ago before it exploded. But you know, the dedication and the love for the music is pretty much the same. I would say.
Yeah.
The Volbeat live shows, generally, then you know we have a lot of energy and you know, very positive energy on stage. You know, we're not trying to be something that we're not. You know, it's very open and very loose, sometimes very spontaneous, and you know, we're in good contact with the audience. You know, it's for us. You know, the fun thing is to play the songs for the fans. You know, if they weren't there, you know, we would be quite bored. You know, so it's really about showing them that we've been waiting for them, you know, all day, and go out there and give them 1.5 hours of something really good. You know, we can only do our best, and mostly at the time, you know, people will go out and say they had a good time. So a lot of positive energy and a lot of good contact to the audience.